O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master Shenhua, all good monks and nuns, and all good no advisors, Amitabha. 诸佛菩萨、清凉大士、师父、上人、各位主持人、各位善知识，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư, Thượng Thiện Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện sư Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 12th of January 2025. Thank you for joining our discussion of the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. We are here at Way Mountain Temple, and this is, I think, our last week of the winter cheese. Okay, so last chance, folks, to become enlightened. Okay, winter cheese, the cheese are the best time for you to apply efforts and see some improvements in yourself. I notice some of you have improved already. You know, it's cool to see. It shows you've been working hard and you're sincere in your cultivation. Please keep it up. Only, a week left? Or even like 6 days left, not even a week. So push yourself, all right? Let me ask you. This sutra was spoken when the Buddha became a Buddha, and then he immediately spoke this for the Bodhisattvas, because in the Buddha's mind, to become a Buddha, he has to serve living beings, and what are the most important living beings to him? Bodhisattvas. So he did the most important thing in his mind. Okay? So this sutra is to help enlighten people. Okay? And why are we listening to it? Because even though most of you are not bodhisattvas, most of you I can see are not bodhisattvas, yet? Yeah or yes? Yet? Yeah, okay. Yeah, not yet. Okay, it's yet, and that's right. You're not bodhisattvas yet. That's why we're doing this, we're explaining this to you. Not only to you, but to the many bodhisattvas who are here as well, to learn the Dharma as well. Okay? So, what is the best way for you to learn this? Because some of you might be thinking, well, this is way out of my league. I'm just trying to make it through another day of this cultivation. Way Mountain Temple is a lot more challenging than I thought. Okay? So this sutra here is to help you expand the scope of your mind. Your mind, through your education, through your life experiences, is confined by what you know, what you can conceive of, what you can think of. Okay? And that's not the nature of your innate wisdom. You have this Buddha's wisdom in you that you occasionally have access to, but you don't realize your Buddha's wisdom. That is called what? Your instinct is your Buddha's wisdom. Especially you heard of women's intuition. Men also have an intuition. Okay? Of course we do. What do you think? Geez, I got offended by that. These women are so arrogant. Anyway, I'm kidding. And so we also have the Buddha's wisdom as well. And cultivation is the process that we were going through that enables us to connect more with that and be able to wield that more effectively, more consistently. Okay? Because women intuitions fail them quite often, more than they like to admit. See, now it's so quiet. So typical. Okay? And so that's the nature of wisdom in these bodhisattvas. They are enlightened, and therefore the Buddha had to explain the sutra to help them even expand the scope of their minds even more. Okay? So the expansion of the mind here is for everyone who listens to this. Okay? It's not about understanding. Okay? Because even bodhisattvas, let's face it, they don't understand. They cannot understand. It's way too much for them too. Okay? But they are planting the seeds for future understanding. So these seeds are very, very important. You never know when they will mature. But unless you plant the seeds, you never have a chance. Agree? So that's why the sutra is very useful for everyone. And we should be grateful for Great Master Shenhua for starting this tradition. You know, funny thing about his students, and one of them, is that even though they're not that good, I'm included, but we all love this sutra. You know, they have very, very limited understanding of the sutra, but they all love it. They all want to talk about the sutra and lecture about the sutra. Women as well, nuns as well want to lecture the sutra. I mean, it's shocking, you know. And some men will lecture, some others, this is too advanced for me, and so forth. Okay, but it's fascinating because I think we all have the same effect as everyone who listens to the sutra, is that it helps us relax. And kind of like watch a movie or listen to these tall tales of some foreign lands that, you know, that maybe someday we'll get a chance to be there, you know, and so forth. When I was younger, I heard about France, I heard about the United States. Never thought I would be able to make it here, okay, and to Europe and so forth. You see, you never know unless you hear about it and you become serious and you want to get there and want to find out and see for yourself. That's the nature of the Buddhist training. Expose you to it, and hopefully that's the seeds right there. And eventually these seeds will mature, and you will be able to penetrate all these things and verify it for yourselves. Okay? And that's why in Buddhism, just a side commentary, the monks and nuns, great monks and nuns like Master Shenhua, has a lot of disciples. Because they are not afraid that their disciples will contradict them. The problem with having disciples is that they watch you 24 hours a day. They're aware of what you do. And eventually, if what you claim in public is not as consistent as what you do in private, they'll be the first one who will denounce you and will stab you in the back. So that's why if you're a smart monk, you don't want to have too many disciples. They can become a threat to you. Okay, and that's how you can judge some of the good teachers, the great teachers. They have a lot of disciples because they want to help them see what they see and know what they know. They're not afraid. Okay, whereas, and then you see some monks and nuns who are by themselves, who refuse disciples. They are either Hinayana or they simply don't have a whole lot to share, to teach their disciples. Okay, so again, going back to societal commentary, and that's to help you choose which ones you want to follow as a good no advisor. Does it help? If you see that they don't have left-home people disciples, be careful. If they cannot train left-home disciples, be careful. Okay? I'm making myself less and less unwelcome to more places. But since when? do I care? Okay. I'm never welcome in any places anyway. I have too big of a mouth. And so going back to this sutra here, never mind. Because people often ask me, how do you choose a good no advisor? You don't know how to choose a good no advisor. You should know what good no advisor not to choose. How's that? Okay. You cut in half immediately. There's a certain group of people I would not touch. Okay. Half of the Sangha, so forth. I did that very quickly when I became a left-form person. And so that's why every now and then I drop hints for you on how to be careful in your search for a good no advisor, because that's key to Mahayana training. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's so many bodhisattvas and Buddhas in our worlds. Okay, they tend to be monks and nuns, and that you can count on to learn. You don't need to figure it out by yourself, because it's very difficult for you to figure it out by yourself. Okay, only rarely you find people like masteryonghua, who really had no teachers. Six Patriarch taught him a little bit, and then his blessings help him understand a lot of stuff simply by reading sutras. All right? And so, anyway, so how do you maximize your study of this Avatamsaka Sutra? How do you make the most out of these Avatamsaka Sutra lectures? Well, obviously the answer is listen the same way as the bodhisattvas. Yeah? That's what they do. You do it like them, and then you get great benefits from it. Okay, moving on. No questions? Yes, in the back. There's a question. Oh my God.
Master, how do we listen to the lecture just like Bodhisattva?
I'm so glad you asked. So subtle, huh? Subtle hints. This is the nature of you Asians. You Asians have this very slow reactions. Usually the Caucasian, ooh, right away. No, that's why. This guy is more Asian too. All these people are more Asians than actually pale-faced. Anyway, and so how do you think bodhisattvas listen to this? Because remember, just like us, many of them don't get it. They really don't. If you think that the Buddha says, speaking Dharma exhorts them to goodness, help them succeed, this is what the God bright eyes understands, okay? You think that without explaining this, they can understand this? No, they can't. This is why these bodhisattvas listen to the Buddha. The Buddha only spoke, speaking Dharma exhorts them to do goodness, help them succeed. This is what the God bright eyes understand. Then moves on next set of gatha. It's no explanation. So who do you think gets more out of it? The bodhisattvas or you? Bodhisattvas? Sure, you have a lot of faith in bodhisattvas. Sometimes bodhisattvas are very disappointing too. They don't get it. Okay? Bodhisattvas too, eventually when they read this, they don't understand. They eventually have to go look up the Chu Chie, the explanation of the sutras, for them to understand what the Buddha really means. Okay? So how do they listen to this sutra, you think? See, all these are fundamental questions that no one ever asked. So that's why slowly I have to ask on your behalf to help you appreciate what to do, what we're doing. Yes, 8. How do bodhisattvas listen to sutras, attend these lectures? Because just like most of you, they don't get it. Yes.
Thank you, Master. Well, I can only guess. Maybe they listen to the sutra with an open mind.
Listen with an open mind. Okay, that sounds reasonable. What's an open mind? Can we go into specifics? Open mind is what? Sounds reasonable. What's an open mind? You see, when you listen, when you speak Dharma, when you listen to Dharma, okay, see how I do it? I help you translate into, what do I do exactly? Open mind, meaning I do what? Get that? That's how you should listen to the Dharma. You don't listen open mind. Oh yeah, I agree. It sounds so good. You always try to translate into something that you do. Not say, oh, listen. Is it clear? This is how I listen. I always listen to Dharma this way. He says that. Does it mean I should do this? Or I should do that? Okay? So what is an open mind?
I think an open mind is to be patient and listen to the explanation of our master, to hear what he has to say.
No, there's no, the bodhisattvas, when they listen to the sutra here, to the Buddha explaining a sutra, there's no explanation.
But is he not speaking?
Yeah, he's speaking through bright eyes and so forth. But there's no explanation in the sutra. As I said, it all said, speaking Dharma exhorts them to goodness, help them succeed. This is what the God bright eyes understand. Next, the World One expounds the Dharma's brightness, differentiating in nature all karma in the world. Next, good and evil deeds are never destroyed. Upon seeing this, pure light rejoices. There you go like this. Text only. No explanation. Got that? Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. I think just only planting blessing can understand, like a Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva has already have a planting blessing to understand about this.
Good point. Yes. They are bodhisattvas because they have a lot of Mahayana blessings that they planted in the past. What is Mahayana blessings? Or is that in the past they contributed to Mahayana. Sometimes watering the plants of the garden of a temple. Sometimes it's offering a cup of water to a Mahayana monk, and so forth. Okay? So in the past, they did things to benefit the people who taught, who practiced Mahayana. Yes, so it's very true. It's very true that in the past, they planted those blessings. Blessings basically is doing something good for others. Is that clear? It's very simple. This is what our children, we were not taught, is that we need to teach. We were never taught to really, really understand the importance of this life. The most important thing in life is not become a president. It's not become rich. But ultimately, make a living with yourself, take care of yourself, and have a good life and so forth. But the main purpose is to help, benefit others. Don't ever forget that. Okay? Then you'll be okay. But we never taught that. We only taught to study, become smart, get good grades, get some prizes and so forth. It's always external things, and they are really not that important after all. Okay? They won't make us happy. And we never taught the fundamentals in purpose of life is to find meaning in helping others. Okay? And this is what's sorely lacking in the educational systems. This is why we're in existence. This is why you have churches. That's why you have synagogues. You have mosques. You have temples. Because they go to these places, mankind has a thirst for that part of it in their soul, in their heart, and therefore they have to go to these places to find the answers. Okay? So yes, and you are here, and just like the Bodhisattvas, they're there listening to this Avatamsaka Sutra from the Buddha, is because they planted blessings in the past. Yes, that's very true. Any other ideas? How should you listen to the Avatamsaka Sutra? Yes, 5.
Could it be to try to be in samadhi?
Try to be in samadhi. Doesn't hurt. Enter samadhi if you can. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. Samson Lau says, listening to the lectures without doubt.
Without doubt. Okay? Let me elaborate on that point a little bit. Of course, we don't understand. We don't get it. It's way too much. Okay? Sometimes the world has so many galaxies, infinite galaxies. There's something called the Dharma realm or the entire universe. Okay? That no one has ever seen. No scientist has ever been able to measure or ascertain. The best thing they could see is that the universe is kind of infinite, light travels like forever. Okay, in a way, it is not something we can comprehend. Okay, and so when you listen to this sutra, what you want to do is to just listen and not process. Yes, DTT.
Yes, Master, that I think we don't use what our understanding to try to understand the...
Correct. Absolutely. This is key. Don't try to understand with your thinking mind. You can't help it. You say you understand and I get it. I don't get it. It's natural for you. Okay? But the bottom line is that you don't think, don't process. That's very, very important. Okay? Understanding, as you will see later, when you have wisdom, understanding comes, that best understanding that's called wisdom comes to you naturally without thinking, without processing. You don't need to say A, therefore B, therefore C. You don't need to have inferences. You don't need to deduct. You naturally, of course. Like, we men know that she loves us. Just like that, yeah? And then you say, because the way she looks at me, the goo gaga eyes, and the way that she leans forward to me, then you explain later. But you just know that, she's interested. Oh, there's not a lot of men here tonight. I don't think these men really very sensitive about it, married, and no longer sensitive to it. This guy, these people, they're not good judges. But the point is that we know, and then we explain it by using our thinking mind. So there's 2 steps here. You notice that the way your mind functions. Number 1, something called intuition. You say, of course, you get it. Okay? And that's your wisdom right there. Isn't that cool? And then when you need to talk to someone, you use your mind, your thinking mind now to explain yourself. That's all. You say, I know that because you, because. That's a thinking mind right there. Got that? Okay? So it's very important. Like Master Z says, don't think, don't try to process it, just listen. And if naturally you get it, you get it. You don't have to think. It's very important for you to remember that point. Yes? In the back.
Master, Vietnamese YouTube comment Lily Pham saying that listen by our pure mind and don't attach to the Dharma.
And what is pure mind? Be careful with your use of words. What's a pure mind? Okay? Yes, in the back. That's 2.
Pure mind is without thinking.
Without thinking. Very good. Meaning that you hear the words, speaking Dharma, exhort them to goodness and help them succeed. You go from here to here. Don't process it. Just let it go through. Resist the temptation to try to process it. Just listen. Okay? And you naturally would think, but let it go through. Okay? And most of the time, just let it go through. If you understand something, you start thinking about something, that's natural too. Okay? But when you listen to the teachings, try, as I keep on telling my students, goes one ear, goes out the other. You don't need to write it down. Master Hsuan told his disciples to write it down, go back home and memorize it. I don't believe that. That's for kindergarten, for university students, for you. Okay? It's much better. You just listen and let go. Listen and let go. You know why? Because as soon as you listen, okay, even the children are back there, they listen, they don't understand what I'm talking about, but as long as the sound enters the ears, organs, it's there in the consciousness. And one day, this will mature. Even if they are half asleep, it doesn't matter. That's why it doesn't bother me if you fall asleep and you're so bored out of your mind, okay, it still goes in your ears. Marcos is kind of personal, huh? How does he know? Yeah. Okay. Don't try to understand. That's all. Okay? Just listen, and let go. And you know, when you do that, something wonderful naturally happens because of the power of the sutra itself. This thing here, speaking Dharma, he exhorts them to goodness, helps them succeed. It sounds like words to you. Actually, I like to tell you that those are actually magical words. Sutras are very powerful words. They're very special words that somehow, when they enter the ear organs, they do wonderful things to your mind and to your body. If you simply give them a chance to make it happen. So that's why when you listen to these sutras, don't process, just relax. And if you are curious about something because your mind kicks in naturally, ask. And after you ask, relax. Just relax. That's all. Okay? Don't worry about understanding. It will come later, naturally. Okay? Because you listen to this and then someday you're driving your car and all of a sudden you say, that's what it means. Exhort him to do goodness. That's what he means. It comes naturally without thinking. And that's your wisdom. So you planted the seeds for that to mature in your wisdom. Is that clear? Yes, TTT.
Master, I have something else to add. To my experience, during the lecture of Master, I watch Master to see the non-verbal communication, because what Master put in there, I absorb everything to try to the point Master want to make.
That's creepy. My God. It's like an act or something to him. It's like, what is Master trying to express? Is that joy? Is that sadness? Scary, man. Yes, in the back.
Master, I second to Master Z, but sometimes in the situation, I'm getting afflicted, but somehow for some reason I turn on your lecture and just seeing the face right there, it automatically take that affliction away. I don't know, but it just happened that
I'm
way.
really afflicted by this. Can we change the subjects? Oh my God, you guys are too much. Yes, K YouTube.
안소미님의 질문입니다. 연부를 하면서 듣는 것은 괜찮은지 궁금합니다.
This is a question from Somi. I want to know, is it okay to listen while reciting Buddha's name?
Yes, absolutely. You certainly can do that, okay? And that doesn't hurt. Anyone else? Okay? Actually, Master Z's and the other young man's comment actually are pretty good. Whatever you do, okay, to stop yourself from processing. It's either watching the comical expressions or the afflictions or so forth, or reciting the Buddha's name, okay? It's all designed to help you not process it, not think. That's the main thing. Does it help? That's the most important thing that you do when you listen to these sutras. And again, if you do that, the sutras, the words of the Buddhas and of these bodhisattvas have a way of nourishing your Buddha seeds in a way that's really, really inconceivable. All right? And so one thing to avoid is sort of like I told you, don't process, just listen. And you ask questions, you're curious, or you think of something that's natural. Don't worry about it. And in particular, don't be like others who do not have enough blessings. What do people who don't have enough blessings do? They have doubts. They reject it. They said, no, this doesn't sound like what my teachers, who is a Hinayana monk, ever talked about. Okay? So you don't want to have doubts. You don't want to reject it. You remember, it's just a sound. Let it go through. And let it do its magic. This Buddha's power on your Buddha nature. Because Buddha's, when he speaks Dharma, any Dharma in particular, is to connect, find a way to connect with your Buddha nature, each and every one of you, through the sound. Okay? So even though whatever they're doing half-heartedly, it's still being activated. Okay? Maybe it's not 100% like you, but at least it has 20, 30, 50, 70%. And that's very, very wonderful. Okay? Does it help? So actually, what we're doing is pretty useful. Like if you simply listen and you have the recordings and listen, and maybe your children happen to be there, they're bored to death, they're doing the thing, they're playing the games, actually the sound goes through the ears, so you are actually helping them a lot as well, more than you realize. Okay, isn't that cool? Because that's what we do. That's why we're doing this, and that's why all of your contribution to make this possible is actually are creating blessings for you in Mahayana, in the Avatamsaka world as well. Okay? All right. Any questions, comments? Okay, let's go back to slide 849. And study. The Honored One expounds the Dharma's brightness, differentiating the nature. Oh, is it the right one? No, it's this one. Sorry. Speaking Dharma exhorts them to goodness, helps them succeed. This is what the bright eyes understands.
说法劝善令成就，此目光天所了知。
Okay, so the context of this is each Bodhisattva, this Mahasattva here, each celestial king, who's actually a Mahasattva, each one of them says a gatha, a 4-line verse that's translated into English here. So the first 2 verses say that rare is thus come one's great kindness and compassion to benefit living beings. It enters all realms of existence. And that's for background information, a reminder for you. He says here, your nature is a nature of kindness and compassion. This is why it's always so appealing for politicians when they talk about kindness and compassion. It appeals to us. Because it's in our nature. It's how, that's what we all have in common. Deep down in our hearts, doesn't matter if you're Catholic or you're non-Catholic, you're Buddhist, non-Buddhist, doesn't matter. All of you have this heart of kindness and compassion. And eventually, what we're doing is to nurture that so that you become the same as His. You're capable of that, it's just you don't know how to connect with it. Yes?
Master, YouTube question is, I've just listened to Master Dharma talk and recite great compassion mantra every day at the same time. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. It's no problem. That's impressive. This person can recite the Great Compassion Mantra and listen to the lecture at the same time. I'm impressed. Yes, DTT must have recited this Great Compassion Mantra quite a lot. Go ahead, DTT.
Master, what is the meaning of yo here? It's also in the 12 condition links. I don't understand what is the yo.
Yo where?
入诸有, the last character.
Oh, yo. Yo here is existence. Okay. And let me go back to this slide at 844. So the nature of the Buddha is great kindness and compassion. is the same as ours. Ours is kindness, compassion, and we're nurturing it so that it becomes great. That's truly who you are. You have great kindness and compassion. So in order to benefit sentient beings, to benefit all living beings, he enters all realms of existence. Realms of existence, that's a yo right there. True yo enters all the existence. What happened is existence is the various realms of existence. For example, the realm of the hungry ghost is called one realm of existence. So the realm of living beings, that's too many realms. The realm of the hells is another realm. The realm of the animals, those are the three lower realms of existence. Okay, so existence is that you take on a body. Okay, and so what happened is that they look into, in Buddhism, the Buddha taught there are 25 in our world, in Saha world, there are 25 realms of existence. Okay, and so in order to benefit us, all Buddhas would manifest in the 25 different realms of existence. Okay, we are in the desire realm. Okay, that's one realm of existence. And so that's why Shakyamuni Buddha, who actually originally was Vairochana Buddha, manifests as Shakyamuni Buddha to become this Buddha into our realm. That's an example of manifesting or entering all various realms of existence. Okay? And that's one way to manifest, is somehow they make themselves enter the birth and death flow, the wheel of reincarnation. They enter and they're born into our realms as a human being, as a god, as an animal, and so forth. They don't hesitate. They would enter any realm and all realms in order to help us simultaneously, by the way. Okay? If it's a matter of conditions, if the conditions are right, they will manifest all at the same time. Isn't that cool? It's not like sequential for us, like we do this first and then we do the next thing. For them, it's like multi-dimensional. Okay? Yes, JMT.
마스터, 지금 나와 있는 슬라이드에서 나오는 희유하다의 유자는 가지고 있다, 소유하다고 12연기에서 가지고 있는 유자는 취 다음에 유라서 존재하다라고, 같은 유지만 존재하다라고 봐야 되지 않나가 제 질문입니다. 괜찮으세요, 현보스님? 그러니까 제 말은 12연기의 유는 취 다음에 나온 게 유라서 12연기의 유는 존재하다라고 봐야 된다는 게 아니냐라는 거죠. 12연기는 네네.
So, Master, I think in this slide, the yo here is it says rare and rare existence, and I think in the 12th condition is the yo means existent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, this yo there is existence, realm of existence, and in our world, as I said, there are 25 different realms of existence. Okay, so he would go anywhere. That's one way. He's born into it. So don't be surprised that some of the animals are actually a Buddha. He enters the realms to help us. Okay, to help living beings. And another way that he enters the realms of existence, okay, is he would send a transformation. You know, he would send a transformation, and then it's basically a transformation, temporary thing. And when he's done, he comes back. He disappears. He doesn't stay there, because that's short term. Is that very short term, versus going there and going through birth and death. So they have the choices. Yes, 5.
Master, when you said about Vairocana manifesting as Shakyamuni Buddha, I'm not saying I doubt it, but it's just like, I don't know. It just makes me, I don't know. So it's not a doubt, but it just like, I don't know how to, like, why or how does that happen? I don't know.
Buddhas have 3 bodies. The main body is Dharma body. And then Shakyamuni Buddha is basically one transformation body of the Dharma body. That's all. Okay, it's like this. Look at like this. You're like a moon in the sky who has a reflection in all the bodies of water on the world. The moon is all Vairocana Buddha. And the reflection on all the water surfaces are Shakyamuni Buddha and Amitabha Buddha and Medicine Master Buddha and so forth and so forth. That's how it works.
So there's only one Buddha?
One Buddha, yes. One Dharma Buddha. Dharma body Buddha. That's all. So that's why there are 3 bodies. The body that Shakyamuni Buddha is basically a transformation body. Okay? That's how they function. All right? KU2.
칼렌님의 질문입니다. 교학과 수행을 어떻게 조화를 이루어야 할지 고민입니다. 교학을 배우면서 신심이 늘어나기보다 줄어든다는 느낌이었습니다. 하물며 기도에 매달리거나 명상에 치우치는 것은 낮은 단계로 보였습니다. 교학은 너무 재밌었지만 신심은 다른 저장소로 감춰진 것 같았습니다. 어떻게 해야 할까요?
This is a question from Scarlett. I wonder how to balance between learning and studying and cultivation. When I study, I feel like my faith is not increasing. I feel like it's decreasing. When I try to pray or being attached to meditation, it looks kind of low level to me. Studying is so fun. I think she means studying Buddha Dharma. It's very fun, but my faith seems like it went to another place, like hidden. So what should I do?
No, I don't understand the nature of the question. It has to do with the translation. I don't think that the translation is that clear about study and versus whatever. Yeah.
She's asking how to balance between cultivation and studying school.
Yes, 2 different times. This is time where you need to study to do your work and make a living. Okay, that's the time that we all have to do in order to sustain ourselves and support our families. And then there's a time where that's a time where you acquire knowledge and on how to earn a place in this society. Whereas to study Buddha Dharma or cultivation or practice is something that nurtures your spiritual needs. That's different. One is intellect, where you need those professional knowledge and those educational skills in order to make a living. Okay, to justify your place in society. Whereas spirituality is another way for you to use this body, this intellect, to acquire wisdom and transcend your mediocrity. Does it help? So there are different times. If you're a student, then you need to spend more time studying and less time in your spiritual pursuit. You don't want to have 100% study as a student only. You probably want to spend time practicing meditation as well, as we recommend 1 hour meditation per day.
Hello.
So it's always have a balance there.
Master, I think she means studying Buddhism, studying school in Buddhism. So it's versus studying Buddhism in the Dharma and versus practicing Chan.
I'm not clear. Question is not clear to me.
When she learned Buddhism, like studying Buddhism, like sutra, she feels her face is decreasing. And to her, when she cultivate like praying or only do meditation, it looks like it's a low level to her. So studying Buddhism like intellectually is very fun to her, but her face seems like it's going away and hidden somewhere.
I don't understand. I mean, there's so much contradiction in the way you express things. In your translation or the original question, I don't get it. You study, and then all of a sudden it's like now it's low level, and you lose interest, and so forth. It's so much. I'm confused. I don't understand the question. Why don't you write it up and then clarify it? Maybe back and forth, because this back and forth here is not clear to me of the original question and the translation. This will help you understand how to translate and clarify it better in your own language, because it's not clear. I know it's probably clear to you, Koreans, in the way you speak, but in English, it's confusing to me. Okay. Let's pick it up on next chance when it's clearer. Okay. Yes, JC.
Hello, Master. Let me try again the translation. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah. So this student came yesterday to my class. She said she studied Buddhism and cultivated for a long time since she was much younger. That's what I collected from her. She said she studied the philosophy of Buddhism, and also she did some study in Tibetan Buddhism. And now her question was, she doesn't know how to balance between the teaching school and cultivation. So when she was doing a lot of studies in the teaching school, she felt that the faith is decreasing instead of increasing. So then she tried to do a lot of recitation, meaning the prayer, or do meditation. She perceived it as a low level. The teaching school is a lot of fun, but the faith is not there. So what to do with this problem?
The problem is that I don't know what she studied, who she studied with, what kind of text she used. Okay, to study Buddhism, whatever, doesn't mean a whole lot to me. You say, I studied Lotus Sutra, and I looked at the explanation of Lotus Sutra by Master so-and-so. So it spells out to me exactly what she studied and who helped her understand the sutras. Okay, to say study Buddhism to me is like studying philosophy. It doesn't mean anything. There's so many branches of philosophy that to say study philosophy is really doesn't help. You need to be more specific, number one. If you study Buddhism and you study the Tibetan Buddhism, that's two different things. It's not the same thing at all. Okay, you study Tibetan Buddhism, is it translated into Korean? If it's translated into Korean, who did the translation? And what are the texts? There's so many questions. It's so vast, it's so vague that I don't know where to start. And then to say, and that's why she's so confused that there's a lot of contradiction in the studies, in the Buddhism, whatever her things she studied, that's why her faith decreased instead of increased, okay, because there's contradiction. And number two, is the faith decrease might be because of the teachers. Okay, and number three, it's also has to do with the fact that I would not be surprised that she only studied the text, the principles, and the words and the jargons, but she really does not know how to meditate. Yes, of course, intellectually, the Buddhist teaching is very, very, very intriguing. It's fun, which means that if she finds it fun, find it interesting, is because she's studying Hinayana texts, not Mahayana texts, and that's why she's able to find it fun. If she studied Mahayana texts, she would be confused. She would not be to understand like the Avatamsaka Sutra text here. There's no way for you to understand. Okay? For Mahayana text, you don't study, you recite. You see, there's so many details there that it's just too much. It's unclear of a picture of what she's doing, what the problem is. And clearly to me, the study is off, the study is wrong, the texts chosen are wrong, the methodology is wrong, teachers you learn from is wrong. That's why she has so many problems. Number two, the practice side, the meditation is also wrong. That's why there's no balance here. It's all about studies and not enough practices. Practices means you need to recite mantras, you need to recite the Buddha's name, or you need to do chant and so forth. And which implies that you need to receive the proper training to do it. You don't just recite the Buddha's name. It's so misleading. In the Pureland people, they just recite the Buddha's name thinking that's all there is to it. No, it's a lot more going on than just that. Only because your teachers don't train you properly, that's why you think that Amitofo is only one thing. Why do you think we have a Fochi here where we spend 7 days and letting you recite and speaking Dharma to you? That's part of the training. And people keep on coming back is because they get a lot out of it. There's a process of training. Same thing with mantras. Same thing with chant. You need to receive the proper training. If you are trained properly, you'll find it very rewarding, and then you find that you begin to appreciate the teachings more. So clearly, the summary is that, in short, she's doing it wrong. That's all. I'm very sorry. Okay? It's too confusing. That's why the question is confusing, and the mind is confusing, and it's no results, no really real tangible benefits from the practices besides finding it interesting. Okay? That's all. At least that she has that. At least she's asking questions. But a lot is being done improperly. Okay? All right. Going back to slide 847. Okay, this is where we're supposed to be after an hour. Speaking Dharma, he exhorts them to goodness, helps them succeed. This is what the God Bright Eyes understands.
说法劝善令成就，此目光天所了之。
Okay. We use the English translation from my master's side, and it's very well done, but it's loose. Let me explain to you. Okay, it sounds good in English here, but actually for Buddhism, we need to use certain jargons which conveys a much better which is much more accurate in the learning of the Dharma. That's why, for example, the prior question, the person who asks, you have to ask, if you study Buddhism, who's the translator? From which school? Is it from China? Is it from Korea? Is it from Vietnam, from Japan, so forth? Because all those texts usually are translated. If you're not Chinese, if you're Korean, then probably it's translated from Chinese into Korean. Now the next question is, who did the translation? That's also very important. Okay? Now, this is the mistakes that many people, Buddhist disciples, make, especially Vietnamese, because Vietnamese are voracious readers of the Dharma. They really like it. But they don't realize that the Vietnamese translation are actually not that good. They're off. Okay? Let me tell you the damage here. If, let's say, the text says you should shoot for the best thing possible, like Buddhahood, and then the translation becomes you should become a president, or you should be an emperor. There's a huge difference between an emperor and a Buddha. You are the Buddha, and why would you settle for an emperor? You understand? That's very damaging, and what people don't realize. Okay? And that's why in the future, you Vietnamese disciples of mine, when you get older and you have a chance, and you have younger people stepping up to fulfill your duties, you may want to go into more translation and correct this translation, because it affects the Vietnamese, the English, like here, the translation is off. Okay, for example, speaking Dharma here. Okay, Chen Shan Ling Chen Chiu. Yeah, he exhorts them. Okay, to goodness. That's correct. Okay, you see, it's not wrong, and helps them succeed. Actually, here it's very precise in Chinese. Speaking Dharma, he exhorts them to goodness, it's okay, and help them to accomplishments. It's not success. Success is a worldly term. Accomplishment is a Buddhist term. What are accomplishments? Right here, accomplish fruits, various fruits. And it's not just enlightenment. Okay? So, let me explain to you. Okay? You can correct it. Helps them to attain accomplishments. Helps them to accomplishments, not to succeed. Okay? Let me explain to you. So, the Buddha, remember, the context of the Buddha is has great kindness and great compassion, meaning he does not discriminate. If he finds a way to give you joy by his great kindness, or he finds a way to relieve your suffering through his great compassion, okay, he would go anywhere and everywhere to do it. That's a context. Is that clear? And what does he do when he gets to us? He speaks Dharma to us. That's one of the most important things he does to help us, is to speak Dharma to us when we're most receptive, when we're willing to hear. You see, because typically we're not interested in hearing. We are preoccupied with our own things. We are playing, we are sleeping, we are reading, we are, looking up things in our phones and so forth. Our attention is riveted on something else already. So we're not interested. Okay? But when the opportunity presents itself, when we are receptive to listening, okay, like we're hungry and have nothing else to do, okay, that's when he speaks Dharma. What kind of Dharma? Okay? Whatever Dharma it is, But all that Dharma is about exhorting us to goodness, meaning appealing to the good nature of ours. And he exhorts us to be a good person, to do good. That's what all the Buddha Dharma is about. That's what cultivation is about. This is going back in reference to the person who seems to be very confused about the question, and through the translation is also confused, okay, until it's clarified a little bit better, okay. It's about this person here. If she had the proper Dharma, she would know that, and the proper cultivation, she would be experiencing goodness. Her heart, the goodness in her heart keeps on growing and growing, becomes more tolerant. She'll enjoy herself, she'll enjoy the cultivation more. But actually she's not. That's why clearly the Dharma is wrong, okay, and the practice is wrong. Is that clear? That's why it's too much to try to fix in one simple answer. Okay, so remember, the primary means of helping us that we are aware of, he speaks Dharma to us. Actually, he does a lot more to help us than we know. Okay? For example, you're so afflicted and you are so distraught. Well, the first thing he has to do is calm you down. You don't even know that. All of a sudden, you calm down. And he appears. When he comes over, so all of a sudden you feel more receptive. You feel calmer, less afflicted. Those are the things he does that we are not aware of. He doesn't advertise it, okay? But he needs to do whatever he needs to do so that we can be receptive to listening to him. Is that clear? Okay? And when he listens to us, the message is that the things that will stick in our heart is that be a gooder person. Okay? Don't do evil. Do good. Because that's who you really are. Okay? And if you do good, then what he also does is he will help us have accomplishments. I'm going to accomplishments for you, and this also pertains to part of the question, part of the answer to the long question, a confused person in Korea. Okay? What accomplishment here is very, very important. So it's not succeed, it's accomplishment. Succeed is worldly. We don't care for worldly success. It's not why we cultivate. Worldly success is secondary. If you cultivate, you will have worldly success, but it's never our goal. We don't speak Dharma to you. We don't exhort you to do goodness in order for you to achieve worldly success, okay? But we want to help you have accomplishments. Is that clear? It's a very clear distinction between success and accomplishments. If you have accomplishments, again, you will have success as a natural consequence of your accomplishments. Believe. It's natural. Okay? So that's why the goal is not success. See, you understand why I'm a little bit critical here? If you translate as succeed, it could be construed as worldly success. It is not worldly success. It's never the focus of the Dharma teaching. It's about accomplishments. And what are accomplishments? Is what I call improvements. You are right now confused, scattered. We teach chant to you. We help you, we teach you sutras, we teach you mantras, recite mantras with you. As you do it with us, all of a sudden you enter first dhyana. That's accomplishment, folks. And then you enter second dhyana, third dhyana. And when you have these accomplishments, you know what happens? You go to work, you're a transformed person, and your boss will notice it. And then he will promote you and say, oh, this person is competent. He's capable of doing more for me. Let me invest in him. You understand? So worldly success is a derivative of your spiritual accomplishments, folks. Okay? So helps them have accomplishments is the English text. Okay? Please correct it. You got it? And this is so important for you to understand. This is the original teaching, not this translation. You see that? They did a good job, except the last phrase, which is wrong. All of a sudden, this transcendental Dharma becomes worldly Dharma. You see, speaking Dharma, so any Dharma, okay, he exhorts them in goodness, okay, and helps them to succeed. Excuse me? There's no success here. And this is why these people are messing up the Dharma without knowing it. And this is why you eventually in the future need to have your own little corrections here in your texts. I don't have time for this. I'm not interested. Okay? Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. Robin's Nest has a question for you, but it's not related to...
Accomplishments. It's an S. A lot of accomplishments. First dhyana is an accomplishment. Second dhyana, third dhyana. You, all of you have accomplishments. That's why you're here. Okay? Yeah. Yes, sorry.
It's okay. Robin's Nest has a question, but it's not related to the sutra. May I ask it?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Amitabha Master, I would like some... ask you if you could clarify this possibly. Vairochana is the Dharma body of Shakyamuni Buddha. Perhaps I misunderstand, but I believe Shakyamuni, upon attaining supreme enlightenment on earth, realized Buddhahood, creating spiritual union with all the other Buddhas. But I have read texts like the Lotus Sutra, where it says Shakyamuni Buddha really became enlightened countless aeons ago. Can you please clarify how, I had to look up this word, I'm not sure what she's saying here, emanationism works.
The Buddhas, Shakyamuni Buddha have accomplished enlightenment, was enlightened, became a Buddha a long, long time ago. And then he keeps them coming back to our worlds when the conditions are appropriate, that living beings need to be taught by a Buddha. And then the Buddha will then come back again to our world, take on the body of a human, and then go through the suffering of humans so that he knows, he can appreciate what we go through ourselves. Okay? They suffer greatly. They endure a lot of suffering, a lot more suffering than you can endure. You remember, he went through the snow mountain. He ate 1 grain of rice, 1 grain of wheat per day for 6 years. You fast for a few days and you can't take it. You know, oh my God, this is so much suffering. Now, let me live a few more days. I cannot like it. No, when Buddha, he ate 1 grain of wheat, 1 grain of rice per day, it's pain. It's very painful, let me tell you. And he endured it. Okay? And by doing that, he actually developed his skills. Okay? When you suffer and you don't give up, okay, you actually are knowing how to develop reach back into your Buddha tools and you pull out a few things to make it, to survive. Okay, that's what you are able to do. And so Buddhas, he went through a lot more suffering, a lot more than we can imagine, in order to become a Buddha. Those sufferings are real, folks. He became a Buddha. So every time he comes back and as a Buddha, okay, and it's only periodically that it happens, because he comes back in order to help people who need to be helped by a Buddha, basically. Okay, so that's why Buddhas, Shakyamuni Buddha, he became a Buddha a long time ago, but he keeps on coming back and times again in order to help more people, because they can only be helped by a Buddha. Okay, very good. So attain accomplishments, okay? And part of the accomplishment is a fruit of enlightenment. And what enlightenment here, Master Shen was talking about is fourth stage Arhat, first ground Bodhisattva, second ground, and so forth. Okay? But in a real general sense, accomplishments here are actually things that will help you, bring you closer to your true self, your Buddhahood, your Buddha nature. Okay? And that's an accomplishment. So the teaching is designed to help you realize accomplishments. All right? And that's what the God, bright eyes, can understand. He knows it. He sees it. Okay? So he looks at the stories of Buddhas, many Buddhas, and sees how Buddhas had to go through, okay, and to help living beings. Okay, so he basically is certifying this himself. And then he says, I need to do this next. Okay? Yeah. Next, the Honored One expounds the Dharma's brightness, differentiating a nature of all karmas in the world. All karma should have an S.
"世尊开阐法光明，分别世间诸业性。"
Okay. When the Buddha speaks Dharma, it's called the Buddha Dharma. And that Buddha Dharma there actually contains the instructions. Okay, so like some sutras are very clear. Some sutras about how to meditate, do mindfulness meditation through breathing. And that's a Satipana Sutta in the Pali text. Okay, or in the Shrangma Sutra, he explains about Chan. Okay, Chinese Chan, and so he elaborates on how, on these various ways of practices, these various concepts of Buddhism. Okay, so they call Dharma doors. Okay, and this Dharma here, Dharma doors or Dharma is the Dharma of wisdom. So that's why they represent brightness. They radiate light, because the Dharma sheds lights on our world, which is dark with confusion. Confusion, we are confused because we are living in the dark. Our mind is enveloped in darkness and we don't realize it. So the Dharma, when you listen to the Dharma, okay, it sheds light on our confusion in our world and helps us see the nature of all karmas. Okay, please make the correction. You got that? And so that's why it's very important. You see, again, referencing the prior questions, Or it says, I get confused, I get lost faith, because if you study the proper translation, the proper Dharma, listen to the proper instructors, the proper teachers, it's supposed to help you understand and see clearer and liberate yourself from your afflictions, not supposed to reduce your faith. Okay? And so maybe it's best we don't pursue the clarification, because I don't want to offend more masters, more teachers, more monks and nuns, more sunims. Okay? But be careful. If it doesn't work, maybe you should change the text. Maybe you should change teachers. And karmas, okay? Karmas and I would stop here tonight. After this, I explain this, okay? That's all the time we have, because I want you to go back to your meditation, because after learning about this, maybe you should meditate and become enlightened. I don't want to stop you from your enlightenment, okay? Of course not. All karmas. Karmas are the things that we create through our mouth, through our mind, and through our body. That's what we do. All day long, we create karmas. Okay? Karmas of the mouth. When we say words, we say coarse words, we joke around, okay? We double-tongue, so we create different types of dharma with our mouth every time we speak. Okay? And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Okay, so anyway, it's mouth karmas through our mouth, mind karmas, okay, through our mind. The mind, when it operates with greed, with anger, with stupidity, you're creating mind karmas. Okay, for example, you're greedy for more money at any cost. Okay? That you're creating mind karmas. So therefore you plot to harm others, to scam others. Okay? That right there, all your plotting in your mind is mind karmas. Okay? Body karmas, okay, can be in a form of stealing, in forms of killing, a form of sexual misconduct. Those are body karmas. All right? Okay. Now, all the karmas could be good or could be bad. Okay? Good karmas, that is helpful to others, helpful to you. Bad karmas, when it's not helpful to others and ultimately not helpful to you. And I want to stress it because he doesn't explain here, because his disciples are low levels. Third kind of karma is neither good or bad. It's neutral karma, which is when you dream. The karma you create during your dreams is called neutral. Is that clear? So it doesn't matter whatever you dream. Don't come to me and say, Master, I dreamt up this. What does it mean? It's you're not creating any karmas. That's not waste time doing this. Okay? You want to gossip? Go see a fortune teller. Okay? Okay. So don't ask me to interpret all your dreams. Some dreams I'm willing to talk to you about, but not all your dreams. All your dreams are neutral. It doesn't matter. Finally, number 4, the kind of karma is neither of the above, meaning it's not good, it's not evil, it's not neutral. What do you think it is? I want you to walk away and say, I learned something I did not find anywhere else. Yeah? None of the above. It's not good, it's neither and not evil, it's not good, it's not neutral. So what is it? See, you all look at me. Really? Is there such a thing? Oh, how interesting. Yes, go Forrest.
Yeah. Master, is it listening to Buddha Dharma?
Listening to Buddha Dharma, how?
Because it increases our affiliation with the Buddha Dharma.
When you listen to Buddha Dharma, what are you listening with? Your body or your mind or your mouth? When you listen, how do you listen to Buddha Dharma with your mouth?
I listen to it with my mind.
Okay, you listen with your mind. Okay, so it's a mind karma, yes? So how can a mind karma can be neither good, neither bad, neither neutral? Yeah? Yes, 5.
Can it be empty karma?
Empty karma. What's an empty karma? That's a very interesting concept. This guy is very creative.
When you're empty, so your mind is pure, your mind is not good, bad, or neutral.
Excellent. God, that's so... original. That's very good. So who creates that kind of karma? Sages. The karma they create are neither good nor evil, not neutral. Okay? Why is it important? Because there are times when you want to create completely empty karmas. Like when? Yes, go first.
Oh, hi, Master. I was thinking my answer is probably stupid, but I was listening to Ray talk about his mind.
Yeah.
So when you listen to karma, most time you're confused. You have no idea. You're confused, so you don't judge. So your mind's empty. You're like, so you're confused. You can't do anything.
Okay. This actually has actual practical applications. You know that there's such a thing as shedding the Buddha's blood offenses. When you let's say burn sutras, it's a very, very serious offense. Did you know that? When you take a sutra that has an image of the Buddha or that's talked about the Dharma, the Sangha and Buddha and whatever Buddhist teachings, and you throw it into the fire, okay, you committed an offense, very, very serious offense, okay, and that you will fall to the hells for sure. Okay, so what happened is in the Chinese system, like we do, we have these paper plaques. Now you see behind me, are there paper plaques behind me? Yeah, these things here. Where do you think they go? When I went to the Avatamsaka monastery in Calgary, that guy stacks them up like this in this room. Yeah, there's a room where he put all these materials, all the sutras, all the copies and all the old sutras, all the books, Buddhist texts that are like dilapidated and they can no longer be used. He puts them right there. It's real fire hazard. The room is full of paper. I asked him why. He says, because if I burn it, it's a very serious offense. When he burns it, I'm burning the Buddha here. I'm burning the Dharma here. Or, quite often people buy a Buddha statue. They bring it home and they break it, And what are they going to do with this Buddha statue here? They throw it in the trash. It's a very serious offense. If they break it and they crush it, it's even more serious offense. What are they supposed to do? They dump it to us. They bring it to the temple and said, Master, this seems like you're something that for you to handle. So they leave those. I have in my house there, I have a statue of the Buddha without ears. Like this ear of mine is not real. It's bionic. Okay, it's really, I do have a statue in ceramics that has no ear, and they dump it on me. What am I supposed to do with it? So you see, if we do that, then we're creating problems for ourselves, aren't we? Because we have a fire hazard accumulating all these paper things. Where do they go? You put them here, eventually it could become a mini Pacific Palisades fire hazard. Okay, and then what about all these statues that are damaged? It actually would cause problems when people see that our Buddha statue has no nose and no mouth and it has one eye only. It doesn't help. So that's why we can dispose of it ourselves by going to this state where we can, when we destroy these paper plaques, when we destroy these statues, and destroy these things, that we're not creating any karmas whatsoever. It's called empty karmas, zero karmas. Yes?
So, Master, it is when the sages are in samadhi that they create empty karmas. It's not at all times, correct?
JMT.
들리세요? 좀 전에 질문하신 거에 대해서 제가 제 답을 체크하고 싶어서 말씀드리는 건데, 일단 선업도 현보쌤 한번 끊을까요? 네. 좀 전에 말씀하신 거에 제 답을 체크하고 싶고, 선업도 아니고 악업도 아닌 거는 저를 뭐라고 대답을 하려고 했냐면 무업, 그러니까 업을 짓지 않는다. 그리고 그거 불성이다 라고 대답하려고 했었고, 네, 한번 끊을게요.
So I want to check my answer to your prior question. I was trying to answer your question was what is neither good karma nor the bad karma or neither above. What is it? And I was trying to answer you that it's no karma, meaning you don't create karma, and that is a Buddha nature.
그리고 그렇게 네. 그리고 그렇게 업을 짓지 않는 수 있는 거는 성인들이 그렇게 삼매 상태에서 하는 행위이기 때문에 업이 아니지 않냐. 이제 저는 그렇게 해석하고 있다를 확인하고 싶었던 거예요.
So they don't create karmas because the sages, they go into their samadhi and they do something. That's why there's no karma. I wanted to confirm that.
Very good. Excellent. You got an A tonight. Thank you, everyone. We stop here tonight.